What is up, you guys? Glitchiz here, and welcome back to the channel. Today I have a highly requested video for you guys. If you watched my previous video going over the 3.0 base tour, it turned out to be pretty popular, and a lot of people were interested in how to build it. I still have to make a video going over how to do all the wiring. That'll probably be the next one that I drop. But the big comment that I kept on getting was, how do you build it from scratch, and can you show off how to build it from scratch? And I kept trying to say that in the description I posted a link to Reb Brucifer's channel, who made a tutorial basically on how to make this from beginning to end, but for whatever reason that link is not showing up, and I don't know why. I can see it on my end perfectly fine, but enough of you have asked, so I figured, what the hell, I'll just go ahead and build one myself and make my own video and upload it. That way you guys can just go to this video and save a little bit of time and won't have to worry about random links and things like that. Plus, I've done it so many times at this point that I'm sure I can explain it and kind of build it a little bit more quickly and make it a little bit more easy to understand. So without any further ado, let's jump right into it. To show the demonstration, I'm going to be building it in Eternal Land. I already rebuilt the entire base once, and I broke it all down just so I can do this demo for you guys. So I already know that I should have enough basically astral sand to make it, and I'll be doing it all out of cement. But right out the gate, when we want to start the base, the first thing that I typically do is I align basically my front porch, my front door. So let's go ahead and start with triangles. The key thing to know is this entire base, with the exception of 2 blocks, is 100% triangle foundations and triangle ceilings. The only thing that I use basically my square foundations for are the 2 side platforms that I put my mining drills on, which I'll get to eventually. But the key thing you want to do first is kind of look in the direction that you want your front door to be facing, like if you're looking out the front door. And this is kind of how I go by it to build it. And the key thing you want to remember is every wall is 3 wall widths wide. So what I want to do is line up the flat edge, and basically this middle flat is going to be where my door entrance would be. So say this is walking out my front door, place that down. Going to be 1 on either side, so there's 1. There's 2 flats wide. Let's go this way, would probably be... What would be a good direction for this? Probably should have done it like this. So let's make sure we've got enough room here. So say I'm looking here, the front door will be right in front of me. So let's go down, we'll put our front door right here. And you're going to want to make a little bit of extra room because we're going to have an outer ring that's going to be for the porch and things like that. So this should be good. Go into build mode, triangle foundations, and plant our first piece. And make this 3 flat edges wide. So there's 2 wide. There's 3 wide, so there is our first wall. So 1, 2, 3. Now once you know you've got 3, you just want to basically rotate the 90 degrees, and that would start the next angle. So there's our first flat going in the other direction, second flat going in the other direction, third flat going in the other direction. So now this second wall is 1, 2, 3. And I like building the perimeter first. So once you got the main perimeter done, filling everything in becomes much easier. So 1, 2, 3, rotate. Here's the next wall, first flat, 2, 3, 3 walls wide, rotate again. And you're just going to go in a big circle. First flat, second flat, third flat, rotate again, first flat, second flat, third flat, rotate one last time, first flat, second flat, fill in the gap, and then the third flat will be the one that we ended when we did the first row. So now we have the perimeter, the 3x3 perimeter of the base, and the next thing you want to do, and what I would recommend, I didn't do it here because I'm doing it quickly, is for that first foundation, you're going to want to raise this up a little bit. So hold down Alt and middle mouse, because we are eventually going to add a stairway to the front. So that's going to look a little goofy at the end of this tutorial. It'll be really low to the ground, but ideally you want to have it probably about like this high. because that will basically force the deviants to have to waste time climbing up and things like that. When they're lower, they can get onto your porch and things a little bit faster. So when you do this first little level, make sure that that very first foundation that you drop is a little bit higher, and then every other foundation from then on will match that height. That's one thing I forgot to mention that I probably should have done, but oh well, I'm not perfect. But then from here, quickly just fill in the middle. And for those of you wondering what that marble floor texture was, it's literally just the default texture, as you can see, of the highest tier cement foundations. Any foundation piece has that marble texture as the default look. Pretty cool. There's some really cool wallpaper skins, but for foundations, I actually leave it as is because I really like this black marble look. So there we go. So now the first thing is done. So first floor is done. Next, we need our walls. So the first thing I like to do, just so I can basically get my bearings within the base, is to do my doorways first. I like to do double doors. So we said this is our front entrance. So we're going to do one in the middle of our front wall, immediately 180, and the exact back flat across from you would be the back entrance. So that we have there. And then from there, you would just do your normal walls. Go ahead, start placing those down. These can be a little buggy sometimes. Just make sure that they're facing the right direction. Apologies if this video takes a little while. Try and do it as fast as I can. You'll see it real time, so you can just see how fast you can build it here. From this point, you can throw down a door if you want, so we don't have to worry about that. I like the black, so go ahead and throw 2 of those in. So there's our first floor done. Now, the key to doing the stairs. This is the hardest part that everyone has trouble with. Basically, we have a hexagon shape, but in the dead center, we actually have a little mini hexagon here that you can notice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basically a one wall width hexagon. You want your stairs to basically start facing you. And we can go with these. You want them basically facing you at the edge of that center. So right there. So you want to basically walk in and see the first step at that angle. And then you want to do the same thing coming from the opposite door. And it should be a little easier to snap into place once you get that first one down, because you'll notice that they're wrapping into each other. So that is where we want our second one. So once you get the first 2 stairs down, the rest becomes easy because you can just build off the ones you already have. From here though, one thing you can do, this actually helps with the stairs a little bit. I've just done it so many times that I just don't bother anymore. But you can actually throw your support beams down, because you will need support beams basically on the corners of that inner hexagon. So if you throw these down first, this will actually give you a little visual cue as to where the edges are of that center hexagon shape. And we also need these to basically fit all of our triangle ceilings. These will be the first things that our ceilings connect to. So from here, we can do the first floor ceilings. So let's go ahead and grab these. Again, all triangle pieces. They can rotate weird. You want to make sure that you snap it to where the 2 triangle faces are on top of your pillars. That's why we do the pillars. So we have a snapping point. Once you get that first one in, you basically want to go around and do that on all of them, and that will close in the middle. And you want to leave the middle open because we're eventually going to want to run up those stairs. And if you put one here, it's going to block us from running. So I like doing these middle ones first. Whoops, see, that one was placed wrong. Grab it again. Make sure that it's snapping to the outside. Like that. And our last one here. Come on. Oh my goodness. These last little triangle pieces can be annoying. Well, what you can also do is just do this. And that'll help get it into place. And then you just fill it in. Go ahead here, go ahead here. Probably going to get a little dark in here, so bear with me. And once you get those first core pieces in, it should start aligning to fill in the rest pretty easily. Alright, so it looks like we got all the ceiling tiles for the first floor. So there you go, first floor done. So now that we have the ceilings in, we can use this as our flooring to start doing the second floor. Now the second floor, I like to make my deviant room. You could just do a normal wall, basically around how it is now, and just do a second level with the same tower shape, but I like to extend out the edges for my deviant room. So basically what I need is more ceiling pieces, and I do one width out and one width out, and then I just fill that in. And to make sure that that basically stays where I need it, I put walls in so I can visually see where this is going. So we have basically this. And then from here, we're going to want to do our triangle ceilings again. One out. Same thing here, one out. Same thing here. And same thing here. That will give us that little extra cubby space that you notice in my base, where it kind of extends off. That one here. So there we go. So now you can see we've got a little outcropping here, and it goes all the way around. Now you can put your walls up around the outside edge. So that'll give a little cubby space here. And obviously these ones will be angled in. So we got a little cubby space. That immediately turns into the next cubby space. Wall it off. Cuts in. Immediately cuts into the next cubby space. Same thing. And the other thing is I'm doing this manually, but you can go into build mode and kind of fly around and snap these probably a little bit faster. So that's one thing you can do. I just know that some of these can be a little finicky sometimes. Like this one. I don't know why it's doing this. But moving on. But that's why I don't bother with build mode sometimes. Come on. Almost done. Now, there we go. So we got all our walls in for the second floor. Now, I use this for my deviant room, and I have the glass skin, so I didn't bother putting in windows. If you want to use this for something else, like your basically domicile area, which I typically use as my third floor, you could put your beds in here and have each little alcove be a hive mate's basically little cubby corner, and you could put windows in the middle of each of these walls. You could do that. So you can put windows in any of these and customize it however you want, but this is like the base layout. But then from here, next thing you want to do, just so we can have an easier time of aligning our stairs, is put in our extension of the pillars. So now we have our core pillars again. And then the one thing I will mention while you're in the column section is because we don't have foundations underneath these cubbies, to get the final triangle ceiling piece to fit, you have to put a support beam in the middle of each of these cubbies. So just save the time now and do that. And with just these one pillars in the middle of each of these little outcroppings, you'll have enough support to do the entire rest of the ceiling. So let's do the stairs next for the second floor. Go ahead and grab these, and this should be pretty easy because we've already got the first one. I like actually standing on the stairs. Bingo, we can do that. Makes it easier just from the viewing angle. Stand on the stairs here. Snap it in. Come on. There we go. So now we have the stairs for the second floor done, and the pillars already in place. Now we go through, do the same thing for the ceiling that we did on the first floor. Make sure that first one is kind of connecting. There we go. Start building off of that. There we go. I just work my way around. And once you get those first ones in, they should auto-align and go exactly where you need them. So there's the center done, and then we just build out from here. And that's the one that you need the pillar to connect to. Once you get that in, you can fill the rest in, and they should snap right into place. If you didn't have that column pillar, this one little spot would be left blank, and it would say you couldn't put it there because there's not enough support. So just by having that one pillar there so the tip can rest on it, it allows you to put that final piece in, and it has enough. And you don't want to overdo more pillars than you need and like put them in every corner, because it's just going to waste structural supports for your final amount of building structure for your territory. We want to try and do this in the most efficient way possible, so that we can use our extra points for other things, whether you want to do a farm extension later on, things like that. This is all you got to do. It takes no time at all. We're already done with the second floor pretty much. And this is the biggest floor of all of them. So the next one will be a little bit quicker. So there we go. Now we've got the second floor done with all of our little cubbies for the deviants. Moving on to the third floor. This is basically just a replica of the first floor. And what I do is, this is the floor because we have the ceiling tiles here for our outcroppings. It makes for the perfect extension of a walkway for our little balcony. So I basically only put in the corners, and these will just be extra little hanging pieces that I put a little lamp underneath to shine down when it's outside, but you don't even need a support for these. So I just fill this in. And then our walls will be normal walls, but one row in from that. Because that outer ring is going to be our balcony. So if we look, it doesn't really matter what side you do, but we know that if I go into build mode, we know that, where's our front door? So this is our front door. So if we want it to look symmetrical, we want our front door balcony entrance to be here. Just double check that one more time. Whoops, not auto run. Yep, okay, so this is the one we want our door on. So this would be the front door to our balcony, 180 degrees, and we do the front door to the other balcony. And then these would just be normal walls again, leaving that outer ring, because that will be the walkway. Going around, connect it to the door. Go ahead and put our doors in. Now the second floor is done. While we're here, we want to just fully complete each floor as we go. We need to have some railings. So let's close these up, open up those, frame, go with the cement railings. Just put these all around the outside. Little tedious, but once you're done, you get a killer base, and you can save your own blueprint and rebuild it anytime you want, and you won't have to worry about it anymore. I have been in talks with the devs, and there's a potential workaround that they may take my advice on to make sharing house blueprints. The idea that I sent them, that I'm hoping they do, is similar to how every player in the game was given a randomly generated friend code. I think that they should randomly generate blueprint codes anytime a new blueprint is made, and then add in the build menu under the house print tab a little basically save and load section, or like a text field where you can manually type in a blueprint code or load in and copy and paste a blueprint code. And then just by clicking a load button, you can load in a house blueprint from anyone that you want if they send you that code on any server you want across the board. So that would be really cool. If you see here, the reason why I had to dismantle my base to do this demonstration for you guys was because I thought I was going to have a genius idea of doing a workaround where I could build this base in Eternal Land, because you can send a link for your Eternal Land to other players and have anyone come and have open permissions. So I went and rebuilt the entire base in Eternal Land and then saved it as a blueprint to do a test. And it wasn't until I had saved it that I noticed that they have an Eternal Land exclusive tag that they put on all things that you build in Eternal Land, and you can't bring this back to the main game, unfortunately. I was like kind of annoyed at first, but then I thought about it from a developer perspective, and it actually makes sense because there's no limit to what you can build in Eternal Land, but there is a limit, a 700 structure limit in the real game. So if they just took this tag off for anyone, then in theory, you could have some crazy massive structure that's 2,000 structure points large in Eternal Land, and it wouldn't physically be able to be built in the real game. So that's probably why they did this. So having some sort of code system where you can get a randomly generated code for every blueprint, I think that would be the best workaround, where we can load in blueprints manually. That way, anyone across any server, as long as they have that code that matches, can load that from any server they're on, and we'll see if they do that. I think that'd be a really nice workaround for sharing blueprints. But for now, this is what you guys are getting. You're getting a tutorial on how to build it from scratch. I don't know why that link in the video wasn't working. But now that this floor is done and our balcony's done... Did I finish the balcony? Yes, okay. So now that the balcony's done, same thing we did on the other floors. Go over to structures, start with our beams, put them in the major corners. We're almost done. We only got one more floor and the roof, which should pretty much do it itself. Go in, fill in the ceilings. Once you get the first one in, the rest kind of just fall into place. Because this doesn't have a cubby anymore, we don't need the support beam. So save your structure points. These can build right to the wall with no extra beams, which is nice. Oops, that one built weird. There we go. Kind of just stand in one place and get the first couple down. The algorithm kind of calculates it for you, and you just keep clicking and it will put it in the right place for you. There we go. Now we've got the third floor done. Go ahead and do the final set of stairs. This is, by the way, what I use for my domicile area. And then the top floor is going to be our resonator room. So let's go ahead and extend this. Again, I like to stand on the stairs and look up. It makes snapping it a little bit easier. I think we almost had it there. Come on. There we go. That should be the last bit of stairs that we need. Alright, so there's that. We know that this is our front entrance, so directly back. Well, actually, this will be a little bit different. This is always going to be slightly offset. But if this is our front entrance, then over here I had our, basically, stairwell. So we can go ahead and build our walls. Leaving the middle one blank, because we need a stairwell leading to the roof, excuse me. So we have that. That will be our stairwell. Going to the roof. And it has to be, the only one that I found that looks clean is this final one. And then to make it just look clean and not be able to fall off of it, I use a square ceiling tile and then put railings around it. So now we have a little staircase that'll eventually lead up to the roof. And then from here, we want our resonator room, and you can technically do it on any of these. What I do is I make it angled, so 2 walls angled. And this one would actually not be a wall, this would be a door. And I do a 1-door entrance for this. So put that there. And same thing on this side, angled out. 1 door there. And then this would be a normal wall. Wall here. Wall here. So now we've got our resonator room where I put my resonator and a little chest for my cortexes. Throw in some doors so we don't have to worry about it. Gotta have them black doors again. And then we can finish out the walls. Apologies again if this is a little bit of a longer video, but hopefully we'll have a fully finished base by the time this is done and you guys won't have to worry about it. Whoops. Whoops. Oh my god. Going too fast. Let me back up. One thing I like to do, just because it's such a high up floor, if you don't have glass, is I'll actually remove... Oh my god, come on. I'll get this final wall up and then I'll show you. Just so you have a cool little view on this floor. What I like to do, and you also need a wall right here. What I like to do is I actually remove the middle wall from each of these. Similar to how we have the stairs here. And then instead of a wall, you can either do a half wall, or I actually like to do a railing. Just so you have a cool little like lookout. You can kind of see things from this floor too, and not just on the roof. Adds a little flair to it. Again, you're going to want your pillars. So let's go ahead and throw those in. I have no idea if that went where it was supposed to. Find out in a second. Probably be easier to do it from the inside. No, it did not, so it's probably below ground right now. Probably should have thrown this pillar up before I... Oh, it's up there. You're really gonna make me do this? Just so I can physically see where it needs to go. There we go. One there, one there. Should be all of them. We don't need this one. Re-put this wall down. There we go. So now we got our supports for the ceiling. Go ahead, grab more triangles. Place our first one. Make sure it's snapped to the corner. Come on. Or we can just start from here. Don't want to be annoying. Go. It should do it for us. This one we do want to fully close off because this is our top floor. That'll give us supports for the roof. So we can walk all around the roof. And what I think I'll do once this is all done and built is I will save a blueprint and I'll open it up so you can see exactly the number of materials you're going to need as well to make this exactly how I have it. So there we go. There's our resonator room. For power and things like that, I usually just put my switches on these walls wherever you want, so you have quick access to them. And at this point, we're pretty much done. We just go up here, finishing these last couple roof pieces. Come on. There's our roof. Put some railings up so it looks nice and fancy. And allows you to not walk off the edge. Alright, so we got our fencing, and then the last little detail that I do is on this center hexagon. I do the little spike thing for a little bit of added flair. And this is where I align my solar panels. That's just a Glitchiz touch right there. You can technically put whatever you want in this up on this roof. I put my garage up here. And there you have it. You are done. Go into build mode. Do a little flyby viewing. And there's your base. Balconies are aligned. Looks like we got a little rogue piece here that we can demolish. Cool little lookout windows. Second floor deviant room. The last thing that I haven't done is our porch. So let me fly down. And once you got the base done, the only thing you got left to do is to do a few more triangle foundations and make a 1 foundation wide extra basically porch around the entire outside. And again, make sure that your initial ones that you put down are elevated a little bit. These are going to be super low to the ground, but ideally you do want them raised. Yeah, it's supposed to go there. Let's walk this all the way around for our wraparound porch. Almost there. There we go. Now we got a cool little porch around it. And then what I do, if your base is going to be used for territory defenses, is I put these cool little triangle extensions on each corner to make it a star. So at every corner, do 1, 2 of an extra triangle. So we go to this corner, 1, 2. Over to this corner, 1, 2. Over to this corner, 1, 2. Same thing over here, 1, 2. And last but not least, 1, 2. And what these are for is for placements for your turrets, because you still want to be able to run around your base, and without these little outcroppings, your turrets are going to be like sitting right here, and you're going to have to like jump over them every time. So I throw these little extra triangle spikes out. Not only does it kind of look cool, but it gives your turrets, because they're actually like a triangle shape, a tripod, all of the turrets. It works out perfectly. You just aim that turret with the front leg as far forward as you can. It's not going to be perfect. The turrets, especially the level 3s, are still going to be back a little bit, but it's not going to take up the whole thing. So you would just align your turret type of thing. So we can just do this as an example. Facilities, defenses, get a level 3 turret. So you basically just, I stand right here, I align basically where I want my turret to be. I'm surprised this is actually working this easily. In the real game, this will be a little bit more limited, and it's gonna show up red when you're this close. But it'll probably end up more like around here. But you just throw it down, and basically that's what you do. And then what I do is, for my turrets, I use 12 altogether because there's 12 points. And I alternate. So I do like rifle turret, shotgun turret, all the way around. One thing I started doing this time actually is For just the front porch and the back porch, I do the shotgun turrets closer to the stairs. So I do shotgun, shotgun, rifle, rifle. But then after that, I rotate around the side. So it'd be shotgun, rifle. And then this back one by the back door would be shotgun or rifle again, shotgun, shotgun. Or it'd be, did we not put a back? Oh, it'd be right here. So it'd be shotgun, shotgun, and then a rifle. So you can technically set them up however you want. But yeah, these little triangle outcroppings are just for your turrets. And then the last icing on the cake is going to be our final stairwell. So we just go over to structures, and the only one that works for this particular setup is the long one. So just grab the long stairwell, and I find if you're on the bottom floor, it's going to want to snap like upwards every time. I found that if you're standing up looking down, it's really easy to make them bow down and lock in where you want it more easily. So obviously that looks a little goofy because the foundations are lower. Yours would probably be like up at this height. So you'd have a little bit more of a walk up with the stairwell. It'll look cool. And enemies can't just walk up, they'll have to climb. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That is the Glitchiz world famous stronghold from beginning to end. If you're in a PvP one and you're not doing purifications, you could throw another stairwell down here. The one thing I do on my base, because I use mining drills, is on the side of the base. So let's say this is the front. This would be the first side edge in between these two triangles. How I mentioned I use 2 square foundations. You can go here, and what I do is I just put a flat one here and a flat one here. And that is what I put my 2 mining drills on, because they fit perfectly on 1 square foundation. So you can tuck them right next to each other, which is kind of nice, and they'll just have a turret defending on either side of them, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that is the base, you guys, from beginning to end. No more having to find hidden links, no having to worry about saving a blueprint. You guys know how to build it from scratch right here and now. So hopefully this video helped you guys out. I apologize if it was a little longer, we're running at almost 35 minutes here, but in the grand scheme of things, for a base you're going to be using for potentially hundreds of hours of gameplay, especially if you can build a blueprint of it once you're done and carry it with you everywhere, spending a good 30 minutes is not that big of an investment, in my opinion, for a brand new base. So yeah, if this helped you guys out, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below. I appreciate all of your guys' feedback. Also, if you want to keep up to date with all my future content, consider subscribing and turn on the notification bell. And lastly, if you want to join a community of like-minded gamers, feel free to check the links down in the description and join us on the Discord. We've got hundreds and hundreds of players in there, many of which are playing Once Human and always looking for new people to group up with. We also have designated channels for our warband signups and things like that. So hopefully you join in soon and we see you guys around. But until the next one, hope everyone has a great day, and we'll see you all later.